Welcome to Throwing the Jab with your host, Willie Needham. This online evangelism training show is dedicated to taking questions and objections to the Christian faith and giving a brief and practical response to be able to set up for more powerful gospel conversations. You see, in boxing, the jab is always very quick and it has to be able to set up for more powerful punches. That's what I'm here to do for you as Christians, so that you can get right back out there and fight until the bell rings. Alright, well, welcome to this week's episode of Throwing the Jab with your host, Willie Needham. That's me. So this week I'm going to be addressing a particular objection that usually is given with some sort of negative emotion mixed in. And so the objection today is Christians are no better than non-Christians. You've probably encountered this if you're a Christian, and you probably feel this way if you're a non-Christian. And, chances are, like if you are a Christian, if you're sharing the gospel with somebody, or even if you just tell somebody that you are a Christian, you might get some sort of response like this. You ain't no better than me. I'm a good person just like you. You think you're so cool? You think you're so cool? Yeah? Well, no, you ain't no better than me. No? Really? Oh, well, okay. I haven't quite in that particular context, but I definitely have been accosted verbally from time to time in under certain circumstances where they believe that I'm holding myself higher than them in some form of superiority over them just because I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, and that I'm going to heaven when I die. Because sadly people see Christians as holding their heads higher than everybody else because they talk about the glories of heaven, and the wonder and joy and the paradise that awaits, those who are trusting in Jesus Christ, those who have been cleansed from their sins. They talk about the joy that they get, that God is giving to them, that Jesus is just handing to them, and they naturally will want to think, okay, well, what gives you the right to have entrance to heaven and not me? Because even the non-Christians who don't really know much at all about Jesus, they do understand that if they're not a Christian, they won't be able to go to heaven. And so you either end up with the universalist who says everybody goes to heaven no matter what, or you just get really angry that you don't get to go. So it doesn't really matter what side of the coin you're on. The response to this is simple. No, Christians are not any better than non-Christians. Plain and simple. We're not any better than anybody else. We are human. If you prick us on our finger, we will bleed red. We have eyes, we have a nose, we have a mouth. We have ears. We got hair. I mean, not all of us do, but, it's really popular for a pastor to be bald nowadays. I don't understand why, but, we're people. We have weaknesses. So it doesn't mean that we're any better. We haven't been given superpowers. Because spiritual gifts are not the same as superpowers. Just so we're clear. I'm sorry, Pentecostals, that's the truth. But Christians are in no way better than non-Christians, any more than a man wearing a parachute is any better than a non-parachute wearing man in a plane that's about to crash. Yeah, I understand usually that people don't jump out of airplanes whenever it's about to crash. They usually go, put their head down, That's not the point. The point is that if you're on a plane that's about to crash and you've been commanded to put on a parachute in order to survive the fall, if you put on a parachute, it doesn't mean that you're any better than the person who doesn't put on the parachute. There is nothing that makes you a better person just because you have that parachute on. So when you're talking about how, whenever I take that jump out of the plane, I'm going to be able to land safely on the ground with, little to no injury to myself, I will certainly be spared in my life. I mean, like, naturally the person not wearing the parachute would be like, well, what makes you so special? So are Christians any better than non-Christians? No. Not in the way that you would think. However, it can be very fair to say that Christians are better off than non-Christians. Because, going back to the parachute illustration, the person who has the parachute on their back and they know how to use it, that's also a key, is better off when they take the plunge out of the plane. It's really that simple. So if you are ever faced with this objection, it's okay. Don't panic. Just remember, you are no better than anybody else. You're just better off because you've been cleansed from your sins. And that's the key right there, is that you have been cleansed from your sins, which means that anybody else can be cleansed from their sins as long as you're capable of having a conversation with them because they're alive. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I hope this has helped you out in some way. And as always, if you have any sort of questions or objections that you'd like to have answered on this show, send them to me and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thank you very much. God bless. Remember, nobody is unsavable. No matter how hard they try to fight back, they are still capable of being saved. No matter how unarmed you may seem in comparison to their capabilities intellectually or socially, they are still capable of being saved as long as there is breath in their lungs. But you gotta keep moving forward and keep sharing the gospel and keep fighting. That's what we're here for. That's our purpose here on the earth as Christians. I hope and pray that you've been blessed by this ministry. If you have any questions or objections that you'd like me to answer, please send it to my email, or you can send it via Twitter at SCF Ministry, or you can look us up on Facebook with the Southpaw Soapbox Evangelism Training Academy, or you can go online at www.scfministry.com. Thank you all very much, and continue to fight until the bell rings.